Alright guys, I'm back with part 2 of the French defense, and the first thing you probably notice is that the angle is a little better. I tipped the computer so you can now see the entire 8th rank, and we're back into the position right after A3, and last video we covered C4, now we're going to cover the other option, bishop to D7. And I haven't memorized this one yet, so I'm going to read it out of the book, alright? Go to A3, bishop to D7, and MCO mentions that an interesting try is knight to H6, so maybe we'll look at that at the end of this video. But right now, let's just stick to the main stuff. Bishop to D7. And now B4, which really seems like kind of the purpose of this A3 move, to push the B pawn. So C takes, what is it? C takes D4. That's what I thought. C takes D4. So it looks like white has got a little nice queenside space going on here. Not exactly sure what the meaning of this is, but maybe we'll figure it out in a second. Looks like it's something nice though. Alright. Rook to C8 and bishop to B2. So already we see one benefit of the pawn being on B4 is the bishop's ability to come here and give this pawn a little extra defense. Now, somebody like me who's an attacking player, I would rather see that doing big damage down here, but it's got a nice little job there, so we're doing all right. Knight A5, and that's a cute little move. That's a cutesy move, and because if you take, the queen comes down. That's cute, right? And I just want to note that if black tries the sort of standard, go here and go here stuff, it's very ineffective. And you can kick this knight immediately with G4, and we've already got this guarded pretty well. So black shouldn't go for the attack against this, with the knights, because it's not going to work. Knight A5, and then we have knight on B to D2, and then knight to C4. So if we take this knight, black takes with the pawn and gets a passed pawn, but the question is it going to be a dangerous passed pawn? And right now I'd say probably not. It's very easy to blockade. However, he has the D5 square that he might be able to use. So let's see what happens here. Knight takes C4, D takes C4. Now I have to take a little time to understand what's going on here first of all. This is a passed pawn. None of the white pawns can stop it. And it can technically be a connected passed pawn because the black B pawn can come to B5. And an endgame that may be an advantage, but right now it's probably, in and of itself, not something that white should really worry about. This square is easy to blockade. Rook C1. The one plus for black is that now he can maybe use this D5 square. Maybe knight E7 to D5 is a possibility, and then maybe supporting the pawn later. But it's important that we recognize that the nature of the position has changed, and then we react accordingly to it. Let's see how the line goes. So, I take C4, rook to C1, and then A5. It looks like black is trying to mount some sort of kind of attack against white's pawns here, trying to break them down a little bit. And I looked at this line last night. I haven't memorized it yet, but I'm remembering some of the ideas. And I'm going to continue looking at the line in the book here, and then we'll talk about it some more. So A5, got to find that side line. There we go. Knight to D2. And this is a nice little repositioning move, putting more pressure on this. The knight on F3 doesn't have a lot to do there anymore, so it's going to come around and address the issue here. Also, this pawn can come up to F4 maybe later and help support the white center even more. Alright, so let's look at that line. A takes B4, knight takes C4. So A takes B4, and knight takes C4. I really like this capture because it gains time on the black queen. Now, of course, this would be silly because of knight takes queen. So now black has to respond to that direct attack. Queen to D8, and now A4. And I really like how white, sorry about the board there, I really like how white has taken care of that little action that black has had on the queen side. White looks to have come out of this pretty nicely. The B pawn is technically passed, but it's also pretty overextended. It looks like white may be able to make a decent target out of it. Knight also, I really like this knight and its ability to go to squares like B6 and d6 later. Right now, this bishop guarding this is very important. If this bishop were not here, the knight on d6 would be a monster of a piece. So in this position, I'm already kind of favoring white, just my personal opinion so far. Let's see what happens. Well, white plays a4. Could we have that? Bishop to c6. I guess this is kind of taking the d5 square. It's one square that black has, and also pressuring g2. So it looks like a good move. a5, bishop e7, knight to b6. And now in the book, it says white has a slight advantage. There we go with that swinging board again. And white has a slight advantage, and I'll have to agree with this. I'll say white has a slight advantage for maybe a few reasons. I like that he's got a very good space advantage in the middle, first of all. That's one of the first things you notice is that white just seems to have more room to move. The knight on b6 is certainly a very nice piece. And white generally looks a little more, I don't know, maybe more active. I don't know. Let's think about what white could do as a plan. And I admit that as I'm showing you this, I'm also trying to figure it out myself. So, what shall I do? Well, of course, black has to move that rook, or we're going to take it. So we can probably assume that that rook is either going to c7 or b8, both of which aren't necessarily the most appealing squares, especially b8. Wonder if the book says anything, does it? No, this book is not any help. So I guess we can probably assume that the rook, let's just, put the rook on c7. I'll just put it there. Keep it on the file. Okay. Let's think of some candidate moves for white, because when you're thinking about a chess position, you want to first understand the position and the imbalances, and then you kind of want to make your plan. And once you figure out what you want to do, then you start making candidate moves. Of course, this is if you have a lot of time. Well, I think that we're still in the opening phase of the game technically. We haven't finished our development. So I think at least a reasonable plan for white would be to finish getting all his crap out. I would like to play a move like bishop to d3. Looks like a very good square for a bishop. However, if I do that, this pawn will hang, and then that'll be at least somewhat annoying. I guess bishop d3, bishop takes, rook here, go there. But why give black any of that sort of play? I'm considering this move queen to g4. And maybe this is bad. If you're a grandmaster and this is stupid, tell me why. But I kind of like it. I like we're getting a piece out. We're putting direct attack on this. And we're also, if bishop comes to g5 trying to go here, we're ready to play f4 and just kick it back. So I really like this queen move. And I think that, it might be pretty reasonable. Although there is, I was thinking about knight here, and I'm like, oh yeah, we just take the g-pawn. So I think this is a strong move for the queen. Although, is there any tactics? It looks like a good move. You think it's a good move? I think it's a good move. I like the white position here. I guess, this pawn might be a liability. g6 maybe? This looks like kind of a sad move to have to play, I guess. bd3. I'm going to kind of play myself for a second. Knight h6. Go for that maybe. And perhaps maybe this is actually not so bad for black. Okay, I'm pretty much just goofing around now since I don't understand this position very well myself, but there you go. That's one of the lines that goes on, and yeah. Alright, well, if you learned something from that, good for you. And if you're better than me, write me a message and explain to me what the hell's going on.